In this video we're looking at Marty Friedman's flamboyant and fascinating fretboard phrasing. So what I'm doing here is looking at the exotic scale of the Lydian pentatonic and a little bit Prebent as well. And there's a few different variations of the Lydian pentatonic, but the one I'm going to be focusing on is this one here. Got the tab there, so what I'd maybe do is just spend a minute and get familiar with it, because it'll make the following exercises and examples a bit easier to go through. Now, to claim this is going to make you sound exactly like Marty Friedman would be an overstatement, to say the least. This is one of but a few colours in his palette, you know, things like his arpeggios, and he has a fantastic ear. His prebends are another thing as well, but at the very least it should give you a new sonic texture to use, and it's one that you don't hear a lot of people using. It's quite easy to apply, and to me it sounds really good. I think it's a great thing to know. All of these examples will be in C Lydian pentatonic, and I've designed the backing track especially for this video, which I'll link to up here. Okay, that is more than enough talking for the video, so I'm just going to dive right into it. This first example here has got what we call displacement, and Marty Friedman uses this a lot to make his phrases sound a bit kind of more interesting. So it's not an even number of groups in the phrase. We've got this pattern. So you'll notice there's still a 16th note left in the bar, but we've essentially ended the phrase. And I'm just repeating this kind of pattern further down the scale. So to break that down a wee bit, I'm doing the 12 and I kind of hammer on from the 12 to the 8 to the 12 again. Down to here, back up again, pull off on the 12 to the 8, down to 11 on the G. Same idea as I said. And then again the same idea using the scale just on the next set of strings. And at this stage you probably guess what's coming next. Same idea. Except I'm sliding down for the last note. This note is still in the scale, it's just the shape I've used before is here. Just decided to slide down to give it a bit more texture. You could learn the scale all over the fretboard, but I'm just going to concentrate in this one position so you can kind of learn how to use it, and then you can apply it to different places as you see necessary. Running through that one from the top. Next one here, a similar idea, so I'm taking a kind of sequence and moving it through. I'm starting off with this idea. So to play that just once, right, I'm repeating that 3 times, so I'm going 1, 2, 3, then I'm moving it up to the next set of strings, just using the scale shape, and I'm going like, just playing that twice. Then the next one, again I'm just moving up through the scale and I'm playing this once. The next two are really similar, except I've moved this last note up to here. So instead of going, I'm going, and I'm doing that again. That note is technically not in the scale, but adds a nice sound to it. Right, I'll recap what we've got so far. In the last bar here, I've got what you call a prebend. So I'm bending the 11th fret on the B string up half a tone, semitone. Return it to pitch and then bending it back up, so I'm going. And when I return it to pitch, I'm muting the string, so you get this sort of sound. So you're going bend, hit, bring it down, bend back up, mute. I've done a video on prebends before. If you want a bit more information on that, I'll pop the link up here if you want to check that out. If not, we'll just crack on. So recapping that from the very start. The next one again here, I'm hammering in this idea of display sequences because they sound awesome. And then I kind of mess about with the sequence a bit more. So to start off, you're probably getting used to the sound now and the kind of shapes. You're going. Essentially, that's the pattern I'm using to begin with. So we're doing this similar kind of pull off from the 12 to 8 on both strings. And then I'm doing a down pick on the 11 on the G, and a down on the 8 on the B as well, and I'm doing that little 8, 12, 8 thing. then, you know, pull off here, 11 to 9. So next set of strings is the same idea, same scale shape, you know. Recap that for you. Now this is where it changes a wee bit, so instead of repeating that and going down the strings, I stay here for a bit longer. So I'm going 12, pulling off to the 9 on the G, and then 10 to the 9 on the D. This time it's 11 to the 9 on the G, but still 10 to 9 on the D there. So we're going... Okay, so you hit the 12 once, 11 once, 12 twice, 11 for the second time, 12 for the third time, then we go into a little different bit. So recap that from the start just now. So I just went on to the last bit there. So what I'm doing is after we've gone 12, 9, 10 to the 9, going down to the next string, which is the 10, down to the 9, and then a bit of a big stretch here. I've got the 12th fret on the E, pulling off to the 8, and then sliding down to the 7th fret. And when you slide down here, you get a nice big vibrato, but also make the vibrato a tiny bit sharp. It's going to give it a slightly cooler, kind of more authentic sound. That's another thing worthwhile mentioning. If you get the licks from Marty Friedman, it's cool, but at the same time you want to go and listen to the source material. So there's some really cool Japanese folk stuff. Mainly the things I like are the ones that have a shakuhachi, I hope I said that right, and a koto. So it's basically kind of like essentially a flute and a kind of guitar type instrument dueling together. And if you go and listen to that, you get a kind of clearer idea of where the sounds are coming from. And if you go to the source material, you kind of get a more authentic version. You can kind of steal some more of that and integrate into your playing. Yeah, I'll just run that one from the top. So. Here the phrasing's a bit more straightforward. I've got this pattern that just repeats 4 times. So I got 11 on the G, doing the 8, 12, 8 on the B, then 11 down to 9 on the G again. And as I say, you got that 4 times. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then here we're doing some pre-bend madness. So we've got pre-bending the 8th fret by a semitone, and then returning it to pitch, bringing it back up, hammering on with my left hand up to the 10th fret, then on to 11. So I'll do that one together. When I've got that held, and then using my right hand and then tapping on the 13th fret, you can then tap again on the 14th and then slide up to the 15th, or you can tap on 13, slide up to 14, and then hammer on 15. Do that all together. Once more. And now I'll take that from the start. You could add on some vibrato to that as well. It's something that's a bit difficult to intonate. If you have the backing track, it's a lot easier to kind of adjust when you need to go up or down a tiny bit to keep it in key. The next example here, we've got a bit of sweep picking. So there's some normal shapes and some slightly weird ones because of the chord scale that you get from playing the Lydian pentatonic. So the one starting off with just an E minor here, 12, 10, 9. Obviously because it's a sweep, I'm doing those all down strokes, and then I'm doing a wee kind of hammer on pull off thing, 9, 10, 9. After that I'm going back down to the 10 on the A, and then 9 and 9 on the D and G. Again, a little hammer on thing. So after that I've got 9 and 9 on the D and G. Then 8, 12, back down to 8 on the B. The start. Take a little pill off here going down the scale, 11 to 9. And then I got another pull off, just the same idea as well. And then what I'm doing is sliding down to the 8th fret and bending it up to come into pitch, so bending up the semitone. And again putting vibrato on it. So I'll do that from the start. So adding in that note at the end just gives it that kind of extra bit of flavour. If you've battled your way through those examples, then well done, because they're pretty tricky, particularly with the whole displacement thing. This one, to give you a nice reprieve, is a little bit easier, a bit more laid back. Focusing on the pre-bending rather than the kind of sequencing thing I was doing. So we're just doing this little pull off, and then I'm pre-bending this note. The 10th fret, I'm bending it up to 11th. I'm putting on vibrato. For this, I would actually tend to pull it down because you get a bit more strength that way. If you take a slightly more pronounced pause before doing it, so I'm muting a bit earlier, they're coming in with the note a bit late, it's going to sound a bit more Friedman-esque, a bit more like Marty Friedman, if that's what you want to do. So we've got that. Same move again, except this time I'm bending up a tone. So we've got... And then, similar idea here, so I got that pull off again, and then I'm doing a pre-bend. Like we've done before, pre-bend returns to note, and then I'm just doing an octave slide, a semitone. So lick all the way from the start. It's a wee bit messy, I'll try again. The next thing I'm talking about here is more of a kind of bonus item than anything else. I'm talking about notes you can kind of add in, or ones you can bend into key that are going to sound pretty cool. So the first one to do is this 11th fret. So even playing that one is quite good. So you can get away with playing it a little bit, and obviously if you bend it up a semitone to the 12th, it's going to sound pretty cool. Next note to consider bending is this one here, 11 on the 12. So just bending that up a semitone. You can also get away with bending that one up a tone. So we could... get away with doing that as well. Because those two notes are in the key, obviously. I'm bending up to this note and to this note, which we've been playing here just to keep the shape a bit more easy. And then next note to bend is this one here. So we've got the 10th fret, which I've done this in a few of the examples, but this is just to highlight it a bit more. And this one again, we can either bend it a tone or a semitone. So we can go bend it up to here, or bend it up to here. And I'll do a little bit of improvising so you can hear the practical application of these ideas. As always, hopefully this lesson has been useful for you guys and you've taken something new away from it or got a new idea to work on. If you enjoyed the video, please do consider to share, like, comment, subscribe, if you feel so inclined. Cheers.